Our teacher, Professor Adam, doesn't know we're just going through the motions. He doesn't understand that nothing he's saying really matters anymore. This classroom, and everything that happens inside it, once seemed big and important. Now it all seems silly and insignificant. I try to pay attention, because we're supposed to, but my mind can't focus on the present. It's too busy thinking about the future. A future where every life in this room is in jeopardy.
Convincing you to read The Shadows Between Us based on its first line. They've never found the body of the first and only boy who broke my heart, and they never will.
Convincing you to read books based off their first lines. There was only so much chafing a girl could handle, and Elle Jones had reached her limit.
Convincing you to read my favorite books based off the first line. PT3. When I was a kid, my mum constantly invented games. I placed my thumb and forefinger on the icy flesh, spreading it taut above the breastbone as Uncle showed me. On a drowsy Sunday afternoon, a man in a long dark coat hesitated in front of a house on a tree-lined street.
Convincing you to read my book based off its first line. To Mum and Dad. No, wait, that's not the first line. That's not the first line. The first line, the first line is, you're getting these letters, aren't you? Yeah, it's my book.
Convincing you to read books based off their first line. Zika Davis used to think it was an honest-to-God tragedy that only 26% of women believed in true love. The soulmate equation.
Do you have a favorite crime? The girl sitting beside me in the spacious reception area asks the question so brightly, with such a wide smile, that I'm positive I must have misheard her. A favorite what? I ask. Crime, she says, still smiling. Okay, did not mishear. In general, or I start cautiously.
Convincing you to read a book based on their first line. I always thought the moment you met the great love of your life would be more like the movies.
Convincing you to read books based off their first lines. I was going to murder his A. One day. I grew up sick. You're the Frenchman. By the time I busted Maya 5 times in a row, I figured it was time to call it quits. The doorman didn't smile at me. If you're not ready in 5 minutes, then you don't get a story. You may be 12 years old now, but your bedtime is still 8. Crowds of fans roar in the distance, fueling the adrenaline building up inside of me. I hear the crack of his skull before the splattering of blood reaches me. I've been locked up for 264 days. There's a small wooden cross staked into the ground on the side of the road with the date of his death written on it. The forest was on fire. Is today a good day to die? Convincing you to read books by their first lines. Gu Miying's relationship with the moon was complicated as our many relationships centered around power. There are many legends about my mother. All right, I will tell you the tale how it happened in truth. The bottom of the lake tasted like mud salt and regret. It took 7 years to get the letter right. He was an easy mark.
Convincing you to read books based off their first line, Colleen Hoover edition. As I sit here with one foot on either side of the ledge, looking down from 12 stories above the streets of Boston, I can't help but think about suicide. I wonder what kind of sound it would make if I were to smash this glass against the side of his head. I hear the crack of his skull before the spattering of blood reaches me. There's a small wooden cross staked into the ground on the side of the road with the date of his death written on it. Somebody stabbed you in the neck, young lady.
Convincing you to read books based off their first lines.
Convincing you to read books based off their first line. No one is dead yet, said Daisy darkly.